Alright. What is happening, all you humans out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm coming at you with another Star versus the Forces of Evil episode review. This time it's titled, well, two titles, of course. This is season 4, episode 6, titled The Ponyhead Show, that's side A, and side B is titled, let's check that out, Surviving the Spiderbites, as it were. And we pick up with a human who is apparently lost with his baby on his back, but he just seems to be playing a game of Snake Eater on his phone. However, he's soon interrupted by a mandatory viewing of the Ponyhead show, of all things, starring namely Ponyhead, and she is eating up every bit of attention on her, as her boyfriend Seahorse is actually, manning the camera and all that good stuff. But we come to find out the actual purpose of this show was to try and get the humans a little bit more on Eclipse's side for the most part, by just kind of showing her fun side, here and there. They even put up a voting thing so that people could show their like and dislike. However, Ponyhead is obsessed with just showing off. It's all about her for the most part, and she is completely down on Eclipse and all of her equipment, especially her bone guitar, which ultimately ends up being handed over to her twin little sister. We also see that there's a segment called Cooking with Earth Turd with Marco and Kelly. However, behind the scenes, Marco accidentally reveals to Kelly that wrestling is fake, which he didn't know was actually something that she wasn't, aware of. So Kelly kind of has a bit of a moment for the most part here, but then Eclipse is pulled aside by Ponyhead's sisters to have a little bit of a makeover before the show, while Ponyhead continues to eat up the limelight. We have a sweet little moment where, Marco and Kelly talk to each other, and, he apologizes for apparently ruining wrestling for her, but apparently Marco ruins a lot of things, as stated by Kelly. But it's a very interesting relationship they have going on. But when their segment almost starts, Ponyhead kind of hijacks it with another segment of hers, to the point where Star pulls her aside and it's just like, you're just trying to, completely derail this to you, that you're just obsessing over yourself for the most part, and people are obviously not caring for it. When Star goes to find Eclipse to finally get her on stage, we see that Ponyhead's sisters have given her a little bit more than just a little bit of a touch up for the most part. And this is also interrupted by the humans outside basically rioting over the fact that their phones have been hijacked by the Ponyhead show. And when Star brings up that he could just change the channel, Seahorse explains that they're unable to, because of the technology from his store. They cannot change the channel or turn it off for the most part. So the Ponyhead show is on blast 24/7 until done otherwise by Ponyhead. And ultimately, Star calls the whole thing a bust, apologizes to Eclipse, and she's ready to basically just bail. But Eclipse is having none of that. She's, in for a penny, in for a pound, she says. Just, I'm going to go through with it and do my best. She doesn't want to back down for this. She wants to at least know she tried. And as, Ponyhead continues to derail things all about herself, Star puts a, crystal cupcake in her gob to shut her up, and allows Eclipse to stand on stage and perform a very sweet, beautiful song. It's very nice. Not the best, but it's a very nice song for the most part. And it does at first catch the human populace's attention. And with a little magical starlight from Star, Eclipse's performance is given a little bit more weight and a little bit more showmanship for the most part, and Eclipse really sells it. And everyone's kind of taken in it inside. Star, Marco, Kelly, they're all kind of taken in by the song. However, the Mumin populace are still just mad that their phones are still being hijacked. They don't care anything about what Eclipse has to sing, they just care about getting their phones back. And the dislike ratio is really showing that. So Star ultimately pulls the plug on the whole activity, with Marco being bummed that he wasn't able to show off his dad's recipe, and Kelly says he can make it at her place, which I guess shows that their relationship is on the up. It's a very odd how their relationship is for the most part. What the only thing that I'm really thinking of is that I would have loved to try Marco's recipe myself. Honestly, that looks pretty good. Star ultimately apologizes to Eclipse as she feels that, Eclipse's ratings overall will be at an all-time low, but Eclipse says she'd rather have people hate her for what she is than like her for something she's not, which is something very much to take to heart for a lot of people. And we end this segment of the episode with the showing that at least one Mumin out there was actually taken in by Eclipse's song, giving very small like in a sea of hate. And it just goes to show that, that's kind of how hatred kind of works for the most part. Yeah, you can have a whole, country of people hating you, but, the next generation, they might not feel the same way. They might be able to see past it and see the things that they truly enjoy. Be judged by what you do, not what people think you do, not by the stereotypes imbued in the public psyche. Very topical. And then we switch over to the next half of the episode, titled Surviving the Spiderbites, where we see that Star is frantically trying to set up a meeting between Eclipse and the Spiderbite royal family. However, Eclipse is nowhere to be found for the most part, and we see that Meteora is being babysat by Marco, who is not having the best experience with this as a whole. It's obvious that Meteora is still not Marco's biggest fan. And ultimately, it's all in vain as she can't find Eclipse before the Spiderbite family finally arrives, all in tow. And she does her best to kind of liven the mood and, the atmosphere, but, at every turn, she's just kind of shot down. And, Eclipse is still nowhere to be found, even with the new setup and them starting to get things underway. And Star basically starts showing them around as best she can, the various artwork that Eclipse and Globgor had, and a traditional human dance and all that good stuff. But the Spiderbite family is just not having any of it, and they just continue to look down on it, to the point where Star kind of calls them out for it. It's just like, you must just hate monsters the way you're acting, because it's obvious that we're trying here, but at every turn you're turning your nose up at all of it. And she just calls them bigoted idiots who just hate monsters, only for it to be revealed that Princess Spiderbite and what was his name? The gloopy dude from that one episode where they had the Mumin monster teen party. Apparently they're still dating after, as his goopiness acts as kind of a salve for the spider bites, which allows them to kind of heal from the various spider bites that they have. So, and the royal family doesn't hate, monsters. In fact, their princess is dating a monster. So, that's not why. It's Eclipse in and of herself. They don't trust Eclipse, not really feeling her, or Globgor especially considering that a lot of the imagery and the artwork depicts Globgor's ruthless rule. cruel, specifically stuff reveling in his destruction, the blood of his artwork that depicts the blood of his enemies, as well as him burning the Spiderbite capital to the ground, as well as, of all things, the royal dance being one that depicts that was in celebration of the feasting of King Shastakan, who is the Spiderbite Queen's ancestor. So it just really does not depict a very good mood, and it just shows that Star was in the dark on a lot of things, a lot of very valuable information that Eclipse could have hopefully have steered her around. And so, Star ultimately apologizes for her indiscretions and quickly goes to find Eclipse before things completely break down. And she finds Eclipse rooting around through the dirt on top of the castle, looking for something specific. But Star kind of chews her out over the fact that she wasn't there to, help, get the Spiderbite people on their side, as they were the only people actually willing to visit for this royal situation. But Eclipse says that she was completely not in the know that it was today for that royal meeting. And as they're informed that the Spiderbite family is leaving in a huff, Eclipse goes in order to greet them and try to calm the tension between them, learning of the various, things that Star had accidentally shown to them that, pretty much does not put their minds at ease on how to feel about Eclipse. Although Eclipse ultimately does admit that Globgor did in fact eat King Shastakan, she says that it did not quite go as was foretold within the legend. So there's obviously some misconstrued facts within the legends that are about Globgor, as Eclipse was actually there to see them, although it's hard to take her word when she's very sweet on Globgor. And in order to, for the most part, ease their minds as best she can, Eclipse shows them, Globgor's imprisoned body, and reaffirms that he will never be released, which brings great joy to the Spiderbite family as a whole, despite Eclipse's misgivings and her want to free Globgor, because a lot of people have already heard about the situation between her and Romulus and everything that happened. So, the growing misconceptions towards Eclipse just continue to spiral out of control, so she had to do something to placate their feelings. And so they, for the most part, leave on good terms. And, Star asks Eclipse what she was doing on top of the castle, and Eclipse says that she was looking for any bits of the Book of Spells, and she admits that it wasn't in fact to try to free Globgor, but just to get a handle on her powers, as most of the spells that she has in her arsenal are personal stuff in order to help her, not to help her people. So she wants to do her best to actually become a good ruler and follow the example set by Star. Star is not quite certain how this would help, as the book was completely burned, but Eclipse highlights the fact that, if you've picked up the Book of Spells actual edition, you know that Glossaric has these magic silkworms that are able to rebuild anything if you have just but a tiny scrap. But when she asks Star if she has any pieces, Star out and out lies to Eclipse, showing that Star still has her own misgivings about Eclipse, and it does not completely trust her, saying that she has no pieces of the Book of Spells. But we see, definitively that is not true, as Star goes into her closet, unearths a box, and shows that she still has a piece of the Book of Spells submerged within that magical goop from before. So this just goes to show that Star still has her misgivings about Eclipse, especially with everything that everyone she knows just not really trusting Eclipse in their own right at every turn, especially, and the artwork really doesn't help. I get that it's a holdover from Globgor, but to have stuff that depicts picks, all these ghastly actions, it does not set a good example and put people's minds at ease. So ultimately, you really have to wonder, can Eclipsa be trusted? Can Globgor be trusted? Can she be trusted to keep him sealed? We all know that's no. He's eventually going to get out at some point. But will he be the monster that everyone is making him out to be? Hey, tell me your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you feel that Eclipsa deserves the benefit of the doubt, or do you feel that she's truly hiding something in the very end? And hey, if you liked this video, feel free to leave me a like, and if you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike, and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below, so I might better, make better videos and learn from that experience to grow and adapt and evolve. And hey, how about subscribing? Because I'll definitely be bringing you more Spiderbite filled reviews of Star versus the Forces of Evil. But until then, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Bye-bye.